All right, we're going to fire another Magic Origins Swiss draft. And here we go. Let's see how this runs for us. All right, pack one, pick one. All right, so we've got some good cards. We've got Knight of the White Orchid. We've got Stalwart Aven. We've got Claustrophobia and Thunderclap Wyvern. The downside is they pretty much all go on the same deck. White's just really wide in this format. It's an easy splash color, so that's really nice. You can pick a white card early and not go heavy into white and still get really quality cards. That does make a problem for Knight of the White Orchid. It's double white, so that's not really a splash, especially on turn 2. But I do think it's the best in the pack. It's the rare from the pack, so it's definitely not coming back around. Stalwart Aven, Claustrophobia, those won't come back. Thunderclap Wyvern could, but I'd be surprised about that. And something I've figured out is make sure to select your draft pick. Don't let it go to pick your reserved item, because if you do that, you don't know what you're going to get. As you can see in the swearing some times in a couple of my previous drafts here. Vryn Wingmare is pretty good if you want the go wide deck. It's a 2/1 flyer, so vanilla test, not so great, but the non-creature spells is not irrelevant. Valerian Wardens is quite good. But it does put me into a second color right away. It's probably better than the Wingmare. Really, the Griffin might even be better than the Wingmare. But alright, Wild Instinct's probably going to be my pick here. It's removal. If I go green-white, you need every single one of these you can get, just because the white removal tends to get snapped up, and green just doesn't have removal. Amprint Tactician is a good card. Elvish Visionary is pretty decent too. I've really enjoyed playing Flame Shadow Conjuring, but I just can't invest a third pick in it when I've got, this is one of those cards where when everything goes right, you just blow folks out of the water. And I've won some games that I would have lost otherwise with it, but I think this is just, the Wild Instincts is just much better. All right, wow. So here are some options. Gideon's Phalanx is a great card, but not as great in this format just because it is so expensive. 7 mana is a whole lot. War Oracle is just really solid. I've enjoyed pretty much everything I've gotten out of it. It's dug me out of some games, and when it's been on the other side of the line, it's buried me in some games. Another Wild Instincts, which I would really be happy to play. I would love to get. This is kind of a non-bow with the Vryn Wingmare. I'm going War Oracle. I'm definitely going to play that. Alright, so what have we got here? Green looks like it could be quite open, but there's no red, there's no black to speak of. It's pretty much a blue-green pack at this point. I'm going to take the Grasp of the Hieromancer. Really aren't many white decks I don't want one of those in. It's just really good at removing blockers. Yeah, I think that's pretty much my pick. If I was definitely going green-white, Might of the Masses might have snuck in for me. But, alright, Lightning Javelin is good. Separate Void Mage is great. Titanic Growth. So if I take Separatist Void Mage, I'm really hoping that Thunderclap Wyvern wheels, and I can start taking blue. Maybe find some Fairy Miscreants. If I take Titanic Growth, I'm really hoping that green stays open like it's looked like it has. I'm going to take the Void Mage. Yeesh. And here I'm waffling again. Because Titanic Growth, Aspiring Aeronaut, you know. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah. I mean, just looking at what's in these packs, that Thunderclap Wyvern's not going to come back. So I think I'm going to take the Titanic Growth. I think the power level between Titanic Growth and Aspiring Aeronaut is much less than between Void Mage. Okay. I mean, the Recluse bogs up the ground. It's great against Thopters. Scrapskin Drake's also against Thopters, but it really wants to be in that blue-white aggressive Flyers deck. I'm going to take the Recluse. Yeah. I've been leaning more towards green. Pick up an Orchard Spirit. Not unhappy with that. Dump Separatist Void Mage. Sideboard the Aerial Volley. I'm happy with those in the sideboard. Yeah, I just can't foresee myself really actually casting Healing Hands. Alchemist Vial might sneak in. Not gonna play it, which I'll hate on that. Wow, Zendikar Royal. I'm not saying it's a great card, but that's really late for that. So I'm feeling pretty... Yeah, you just can't get rid of those things. I'm feeling pretty good about green being open. I mean, it's almost always open. Not a lot of love for it in this format. That does mean if I'm going green-white, I really have to prioritize removal or just take Kythian. The Warden's not going to come back. The Celestial Flare, Cleric of the Forward Order, all cards I would love to see wheel. None of them will. So I'm expecting to sideboard another Aerial Volley out of this pack. But yeah, I mean, I'm just taking Kythian. He's, what's he sitting at? Like 4 or 5 tickets right now? And he's also, I mean, for me, the best card in the pack, especially with these green creatures where they just want to rumble. They want to get in there. They want to be in combat against your opponent's creatures and do terrible, terrible things to them just because they're bigger. And, yeah. So, Kythian it is. Alright. There's some really nice red in this pack. That is for sure. But I mean, I know there's a never say never mentality. But yeah, I think I'm taking the Cleric. The Orchard Spirit could wheel. If it does, I'm pretty happy with that. If it doesn't, I mean, this is a deck that is probably going to be fine with some Bonded Constructs. But 2-drops are huge in this format, and this is going to be a deck that's going to focus on a lot of 2-drops. I'm really hoping for some Topin Free Blades. Alhameret wield. Not wield, but nobody wants Alhameret, huh? Well, that... Man, I am just wishing that Wyvern did come back and nobody was playing Blue-White Skies, and then I could pick up this really sweet guy. There's a Jesse and Thief in here too. My white considerations are Amprint Tactician. I mean, Kythian's Tactics is a card I might play, but I'm taking the Llanowar Empath. I'm not really happy about it because there was some awesome blue in that pack. Yeah, Rock Maulers all the way. I need something top end, and Rock Maulers are just really good. Yoked Ox is not. Rest of this pack is pretty much junk. I mean, Shaman of the Pack is a good card, but I'm nowhere near black. Scrapskin Drake and Screeching Scob are both playable, but Sigil of Valor, it's good in this deck. Take the combat trick. Elemental Bond is not something I care about. Probably going to be a Caterpillar for the sideboard. I mean, Aven Battle Priest is something, if I'm really scrapping, I can look at, but wow. Aeronaut Wield. Boggart Brute. I really don't think I want a second Caustic Caterpillar. But there's nothing else in this pack that I really care about at all. Alright. Aerial Volley or Bonded Construct, and I'm going to sideboard the Volley. Orchard Spirit came back. I'm happy about that. I think this might be Kythian's Tactics times. This deck is definitely trying to go wide right now. I would actually probably play 2 of these in this deck. And a third Caustic Caterpillar. Well, there we go. A third Caustic Caterpillar is definitely not necessary. Yeah, that nerfs my deck. So I'm going green-white weenie, when green-white's usually the renown. Really hoping to pull something in that brings up the power level here. And really hoping to see some removal. Some Suppression Bonds. Some Wild Instincts. This is, I mean, whoop-de rare. It's not worth anything, is it? Ticket and a half? No. Jeez, do I take Orchard Spirit? I mean, there's better cards. I mean, a lot. Claustrophobia is better. Thopter Engineer is just great. But I mean, the white in this pack stinks. Guardian Automaton is playable, but I mean, in this deck, I'd rather have the 3-drop flyer. Alright, Suppression Bonds, I have to take that. I need the removal. Yev's Force Mage is good in this deck. all of the blue in this pack is solid. You know, playable to excellent. But yeah, just suppression bonds. I need 4 drops. I need removal. Oh! Alright. So this is where I try to figure out if I'm going to be disciplined or not. Because I do need some removal. But that Patron of the Valiant is great top end for me. It's another flyer. And, I mean, I'm almost kind of green-white flyers. Another Thunderclap Wyvern. Ugh. If you can't tell, I'm just itching to draft the Blue-White Skies deck, but neither of those are even going to sniff coming back. I've been past the suppression bonds. I'm going to take the Patron. Sky Snare or Topin Freeblade. How many 2 drops am I playing? 1, 2, 3. 2 drops. I mean, this is tough. Because this is very efficient, very move around. I think I'm just going to have an easier time dealing with the Topin Freeblade. And another Rock Smallers, and now I've just got all sorts of top end. I need some more lower end creatures. Enlightened Ascetic it's going to be. I mean, that's a sideboard 2-drop, but maybe, do I want a Nissa's Pilgrimage? I mean, I think I want a Nissa's Pilgrimage. With the Caterpillars in the sideboard, I think I have plenty. And do I want a Force Mage? I think I want a Force Mage. Force Mage over the Pilgrimage. It's another creature I want to play. Alright. So Warhorn or Recluse? I think Warhorn. I think this is a Warhorn deck. I mean, 2 Rock Smallers, a bunch of flyers. Yeah. None of this is getting into my deck. Well, I'll do that. Yevva's Force Mage is quite probably getting into my deck. Alright. Ox, Pilgrimage, or Sidearm. Sidearm is solid, but I got some bigs. And I've got that Royal. I'm going to take the Pilgrimage. Auramancer. What are my auras? Suppression Bonds, Grasp, and Royal. Yeah, I'll play an Auramancer. Gorger. Well, being undisciplined, I took the Patron of the Valiant over the Suppression Bonds. I will probably come to regret that. But let's find out in deck building. Okay. I'm going to take Recluse out. Keeping gone. Need to cut 6 cards. I think Gorger is one of them. Because I'm seeing 2 ways I can go, which will give this this deck a little bit of modality. I can go the big fatties and keep the 2 Nissus Pilgrimages in, and the Vastwood Gorger, the Sky Snare, the Maulers, and the Patron. Try to get up to 5-6 mana as soon as possible. At that point, I don't have a whole lot of mana sinks, but I do have the Zendikar's Royal. Or I can try to go low and wide with all the Orchard Spirits and the Force Mage. I think Auramancer doesn't make the cut, because I still have 16 creatures, and they're all fairly strong creatures. I mean, these are supplemental, but man, they can really make a difference. And I want plenty of creatures for this Empath. I think I need to keep my tricks. Alright, so I'm at 28. Have to get rid of 5. So 1, 2, 3. Kind of want all of these for the go wide strategy, but I just don't think I'm going to be going that wide. I think I might just be doing a lot more swing in with big creatures, which makes the Warhorn less important. I mean, I might be over-attached to Zendikar's Royal too. Okay. So, I cut these. What am I looking at? Combat trick, combat trick. I mean, effectively a combat trick. Yeah, my 2 pieces of removal. I mean, these are just terrible when you're behind. But I mean, it does, well, how often is that going to be coming on? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spells. So the Vigilance isn't going to come in very often. That's another one of those cards that's kind of a non-bow with itself, because you want lots of creatures, but every creature in your deck takes a spell out that would enable spell mastery. But I think this is going to be a pretty aggressive deck anyways, so keeping guys back to block is probably not going to be a top priority. Yeah. So I think bring these up to sideboard. That gets me at 23. It's not a great curve, but yeah, man, I just really don't have a whole lot to do on turn 2, which is not good in this format. I've got a lot to do on turn 3, so I'll probably be slower than the average deck. Alright, I definitely want my white sources early, and I want them in plentitude. So I'm probably going to go, well, 9-8 or 10-7. Now I gotta go 9-8, because while I need the double white, I can't afford to not get green. Yep. I agree, Magic Online. Well, all right, here's what we're going to send out. We'll see how she goes. So, click submit, and see you in a few minutes.